Hello and welcome back to Hollowponds Solo Sagas, where we are in Australia again, and we are recording our 17th episode of Daggerheart played solo, a Daggerheart solo play campaign. 17 episodes. Watch time has dwindled down, as normally happens at the tail ends. We've probably got another sort of 3-ish episodes in here, maybe less. I'm not too sure. It all depends what happens in today's session. It should be the 13th of December, so a couple of weeks and it's Christmas. So where did we leave Fern? We leveled Fern up to level 2, so we're now facing tier 2 adversaries. We had our jobs the session beforehand, which I have because we are now in, I've mentioned it in the last 2 sessions this week, but you might not watch them. So we're back in Australia, but we don't have a home yet. So we're just staying in Airbnb for now, but we are going to stay in Australia, which means that I can start to purchase things. And so it means that I was able to actually go and buy some index cards because I didn't have to cart them between countries with excess weight. So I went to Officeworks and I got some index cards to put the jobs from Hush, where we have the Whitefire Arcanist has asked us to scout a quarry where potentially they're constructing the constructs. We've also got the Whitefire Arcanist asked us to talk to or find out about a person who could be actually participating in constructing the constructs, which would be a tier 2 mage. Now that may be a social encounter. And our third job was a Thistlefolk job, which is there are some bounty hunters who are looking for bandits who have been attacking the trade routes. These are the Thistlefolk. If we attack the bandits on behalf of the bounty hunters, it would be for the Sinecure, would get the bonus, it's a faction job. If we stop the bounty hunters and save the bandits, it will be a Thistlefolk bonus job. We will, whenever we roll, I think I missed 1 or 2 criticals over the last few sessions, being in Belgium and various other things going on in my head, I missed it. So I didn't increment the other jobs, but they all came to a conclusion at the end of session before last anyway. So we have that going on. So basically, Fern is on 0 hit point loss. I think Wolf is also okay. Yes, Wolf is okay. So we are all kitted up. We have equipment. We have stuff. We will set off back into the Sablewood to go and pursue down one of these jobs that the Whitefire Arcanist has asked us to do. So this is where we have a decision point. Now I was thinking, before I started the session, as I was setting up the lights and fixing the green screen to this wall behind me, trying to set everything up in this Airbnb and dodge cockroaches. It's not a very great Airbnb. There's quite a lot of Australian wildlife. So I was thinking, where might we find that mage? Now we could explore some of those other locations. Now we do have the refuge, which is really, it's outside, it's on the edge of the Sablewood, the refuge. I think it's called the refuge. Or there's also Roots Hollow. Now Roots Hollow might be quite interesting. We could go back to the try and find the Thistlefolk's home, which I think we got close to at some point. I also noticed if you purchased, which you can purchase, so I've got 3 books for Daggerheart, which are available on Drive Thru RPG. There is the Heart Guide, which is a basic GME assistant, so basic Oracle tables. Then there's Solo and Sablewood, which is far more extensive in which I just discussed in the areas of the Sablewood and in various different Oracle tables and random tables for job creation. And then we have the constructs, the tier 1 and 2 adversary constructs, because there weren't many in the book, so I created some constructs, which was quite fun. I'm going to do it with some others. So we have those 3. Now I only noticed because all of those are in a box on the way from Belgium to Australia to go to my youngest's house, so my ex's house, because we didn't have an address to send it to at the time. But that's got my physical books for the SRD and all of those books I've just mentioned in. So I've opened them up on PDF for today's session, which means I've noticed that the bookmarks for those PDFs are not good, they're broken. I will be, at the end of this session, fixing those and uploading them to be replaced. But anyway, that was just an aside. So, because I was looking through, and we have those areas that we could explore that we haven't actually explored yet within the Sablewood. So we do have, so we've been to Hush. We're probably not going to go, we explored the Lucient River for a short period of time. We still have the Refuge, which we were aiming to go to, but the Refuge has got a bad relationship with the Sablewood, and maybe it's a bit later that we go there, and maybe even Fern wouldn't like the Refuge at all, because the Refuge is really sort of the antithesis of what Fern is about. Fern is about the Sablewood. Fern is a ranger. I mean, at some point, if we progress this campaign beyond one season into a second season, not only do we have the big bad, as far as we know, the big bad may be outside of the Sablewood, which will also frame this next scene that we describe in the view of our big bad villain. But there is, so Roots Hollow is possible a choice. Now, Roots Hollow is a bit hidden away. It's basically, it's where the roots of the Sablewood trees are old and gnarly. They have pushed up gaps and they've created little caves almost under the ground in the roots. They are the Roots Hollows, and the inhabitants of them have decided to make up that space, because you can hide away from, because there's a lot of bad stuff in the Sablewood, and the Sablewood's not exactly a light and fluffy place to explore, but they can hide themselves away inside those Roots Hollows and try and stay safe. So we could go try and explore the Roots Hollow. That is possible. The spires we have been to, and then of course we've got Thistlefolk. Now there are multiple Thistlefolk villages that we could go and explore. There isn't just like one central, which is the Bramble. There's not just the Bramble, there are just little villages hidden away in the Bramble that are trying to stay safe, basically. So we could go and question some of those people in one of those locations, either Roots Hollow, and see if we can find this mage. That might be a social way of doing it. Now, the only thing is Fern isn't really a social character, so would Fern want to go and have social interactions? Now, we could bump into Mandex or Mandek when we go there, which I don't know whether I brought Mandek's character sheet with me, or that might be in the box as well, actually. Now I'm checking this. So Fern's not going to do that because we do not have Mandek to check. Oh, another thing I noted, I checked, I don't know whether I mentioned it when I was doing the leveling up last session, was that I wasn't too sure about the loadout of cards. Now, the loadout of cards is basically 5. You can have 5, so we have Untouchable, we have Vicious Entangle, and we also, what was the other one that we chose? We chose another one. I think it was Enrapture. We've got Death Deceiver, spend a hope to gain advantage on a roll to deceive. Oh no, that was Thingy. Oh, I See It Coming. That was it. I See It Coming, which was beyond melee range, roll a D, mark of stress, roll a D4 and add it to your invasion. So we can have I See It Coming, Vicious Entanglement and Untouchable all running at the same time, and we can then have 2 more if we wanted to, which would then give us that advantage as we go. Once we hit a 5 card loadout, then we need to start trading them in and out, and we probably don't have to do that for a while. What is Fern going to do? Why would Fern, we've got Fern's character? So the compelling character card, we've got Fern wants to protect the Sablewood because it's their home. So protecting the Sablewood may be the Thistlefolk. Now, if Fern does know, because Fern doesn't like the Sinecure, so maybe we are going to move through the Sablewood towards, do a little scout in the Sablewood. So maybe we will do a scout in the Sablewood and see if we can find any trace of those bounty hunters whilst we are hunting down the location of the quarry. Now, why don't we say that we are going to say that there are potentially, because just saying there is one quarry is a little bit, let's go straight there. So maybe the White Fire Arcanist would have said that 3 is a good number. Oh, we'll do a pool. We'll do a dice pool. We'll do a dice pool of, that'll work. We will do a dice pool of, I don't know, not many. So maybe 3 or 4, 3. Let's do a dice pool of 3 dice. That's the quarry. So basically, we are going to explore various different locations within the Sablewood. We will possibly have encounters. It means that we increase the probability that we will find those bounty hunters. It means that we might find other interesting things, but we're going to walk around, and it also means that every time we would roll a critical, one of our jobs might expire, and this one might expire before we get there. Now, it's highly unlikely because we've only got a dice pool of 3, which means it's not going to last. So do you remember how dice pool clocks work? So how a dice pool clock works is you define what the number in the dice pool is. I mentioned this. We have a dice pool clock as one of the features of our big bad. So we would roll 3 dice. If we roll a 1, it comes out, and then the pool stays the same. So every time, and then once all of the dice are gone, then we've found the encounter. So we would be exploring the Sablewood, looking for the quarry that is the quarry of interest, where the constructs are being, where the components to make the constructs are coming from. So that is what we'll have Fern do. With Wolf, they're going to set off, strike out back into the Sablewood. We have a fear pool of 4, so I don't think we're quite at the point of needing to spend it. 2 more and we'll start spending it to chuck stuff in and cause Fern some problems. And if we get an encounter, we will throw those in instantly. And so we are going to look for a quarry to allow us to see if we can find what's going on and who might be building the constructs. I'm just looking for the tables in this PDF. Description of the environment. All right, we'll do that first. We'll say where we're going through. We will, so Fern needs to make an insight check with a target of 15. So Fern needs an instinct check with a target of 15 for Fern to be able to pass finding the first location, which would then be the first roll. So first off, we need Fern to make an instinct roll. Fern, we gave Fern +2 on instinct, so we've got +2. We have no hope at the moment to spend on getting a +2 of anything, so we've just got our duality dice roll +2, which gives us, so we've got a fear comes in, so we have a 11, +2 is a 13, we've got +1 fear, which means we have failed on a fail check or a success with fear. Roll a d12, and on odd we have an encounter. On a fail check with fear means we're ambushed. Okay, so we then roll a d12. On an odd, we have an odd, which is a 1. So, which means we're in an encounter. We are ambushed by something as we're going through. So we will roll our 3d6 dice pool to find out if it's no. So we've still got a 3. So our first point is an ambush encounter, a pool of 3. So we are striking out. So now let's see what we've got for our ambush. We'll roll for the encounter. We'll roll a d12 on the encounter, d12 to find out what the encounter is. But first off, let's say what our environment is, which is a d20. So this is all from Solo in Sablewood. The only way I can show you the cover is on my surface. Can you see that, or is the glow there? Solo in Sablewood. You can pick that up on Drive Thru. Just recently, I did for my Patreon members. There was a massive discount on the 3 Daggerheart books, when I get a moment, probably over December into January, I am going to create more adversary books, and I'm going to rework the Heart Guide, taking from the single player mode that I wrote with Jay Gray for Our Tales Orient, and I'm going to take some of the stuff that I wrote for the single player mode, and I'm going to, which I am allowed to do according to the contract I signed, and I'm going to rework it into Daggerheart and do a bigger, more concise heart guide for the solo player, or to assist a Daggerheart DM in giving some ideas, so some stuff in the pockets, because I wrote all those tables for single player mode and some of the encounter stuff and some of the bits, and also I'm going to think about other campaign frameworks. Now, according to the rules of the rules of what I can produce, that Darrington Press released, I cannot refer to the campaign frameworks which are in the core book, but I can abstractly refer to campaign frameworks, but not those ones that are in the core book. But anyway, enough of that nonsense. We have an encounter to encounter. We have an environment. So what is the environment? We are moving through, the ground is strewn with thick roots and tangled moss. Somewhere in the near distance, a strix wolf calls, and smaller creatures fall instantly silent. So we're in amongst the roots of the trees. So we would say that if it's tangled and mossy, we would say that there's the smell of that slight decomposing smell of leaves. There's a lot of leaf and mulch about, and maybe that is what's put Fern off, and Fern hasn't really noticed what's going on because of the smell. We did create a fear, so we are being ambushed, and we can chuck that in to mean that we go first. To mean that the baddies go first. So we have, if you're about to have an encounter in your story, you might come from narrative, a failed travel roll, or maybe you annoyed someone in a Thistlefolk tavern by failing a social check. So let's roll a d12 and we'll see what our encounter table says. We have a 6. A 6 comes up as a social encounter. This might be a travelling trader with guards or a market stall holder in town. This is going to be the bounty hunters, because if this is a travelling trader, then this will be that the bounty hunters have set a trap the bounty hunters have set a trap for the Thistlefolk people, and so we'll do that. We'll say that we're going to come into a stat box from SRD or create a progress countdown and run a skill challenge. Okay, so the group here doesn't want to fight. They want to sell, buy, or simply mess you about. So what this is going to be, okay, so this is straight into the bounty hunter. All right, so when does my reset happen? 9 minutes. Okay, I will pause, I will create, so what have we got? So we would have a fight where there would be, but we can just basically, we can abstract part of it. So we can say that all of a sudden, we are not paying attention and we stumble into a clearing and there's a massive Barney going on. For some reason, Fern didn't hear it. It's like a silent disco. It's a silent fight and Fern doesn't hear it. And we are going to go. So we'll create 5 BP worth of tier 2 adversaries. So we'll do that. Let's do that. We'll do that before we'll close this bit. So we'll see the point adjustment. So we'll use the encounter weighting table that I wrote, which means that we'll see if there's an adjustment to the 5 points. So D12 gives us a 3. All enemy do +2 damage. So we've got 4 BP, but damage is +2, which makes sense because these are bounty hunters. They are trained to attack, but we're only using 4 BP. Battle points spend. So let's do a D12, we've got a 2, which is a group of minions. So we'll have, so minions is 1, so we've got a minion, which is 1 BP. And then we've got a 4, which is a second minion, 1 BP. So we've got 2 BP left to spend. A 6 is a support character. which is 1 BP. Maybe their leader is busy fighting the Thistlefolk. And then we've got a 9. A 9 is a bruiser, which is 4. We do not have 4 left to spend. An 11, which is a leader, which is 3. I mean, if we spend 3, which is a leader, that does come up with our 5 BP. And even though it's said to use 4, maybe we will drop the +2 damage, drop the 4, and we will just use 5 BP, which means we've got a leader, and then we've got a 3, 4, 5. No, that gives us 6. So maybe we will drop. So let's say if fear is higher, we drop the support. If hope is higher, we drop the minion. That's a 6 and a 6. All right, we are going to drop a minion and a support, which gives us a leader and a minion, and they do +2 damage. So that gives us 4 BP. They do +2 damage, and that shows you how we interpret dice. Okay, I am now going to pause and come back after I've found the stuff in the SRD. I'm only using the SRD for enemies. I will not have time to create any adversaries at this point, but you should give it a go, because creating adversaries in Daggerheart is actually a really fun experience. Right, I'll be back. So what I decided upon was these are tier 2 adversaries. We have chosen the Master Assassin, which is a leader, and the Apprentice Assassin. Now, due to the fact that the Apprentice Assassin, being a minion, only really has advantage when there's more than one of them, I decided that I would throw in that second minion. So we are actually facing 5 BP, so I will drop that +2 on damage, making it a bit more equal. So a 5 BP party against Fern should be alright, which is the leader, which is worth 3 BP, who has a difficulty of 15, has an attack of +5, has a 12 threshold, 25, 7 hit points, 5 stress, has a serrated dagger, which means it's close-up damage, doing 2d10 +2. Abilities are Strikers 1, Marker Stress, Spotlight, all the other assassins, which would be the minions. Those 2 can attack at once, so those 2 minions can then attack, but that's a stress. As a reaction, if the assassin master does a successful attack, we will generate a fear, and we can spend that fear that whenever we would attack a vulnerable target, we would do severe damage. So, but Fern needs to be vulnerable first, which is basically burning all of Fern's stress will cause Fern to be vulnerable, and there's a few other things that you can make Fern vulnerable. The minions have a difficulty of 13, of attack of -1. 1 hit point, basically any damage, any stress, any damage to the minion that goes down. It's a bit like the minions in Lancer. We played Lancer solo. If you want to watch how to play Lancer solo, I also have a Lancer solo GME available on Drive Thru. You can see how to play Lancer solo. I play Lancer solo, really enjoy it. Looking forward to getting all my stuff back. I need to purchase because I gave my youngest the monitor we were using, the TV we were using. I can't really ask for that back now. So we'll look on Facebook Marketplace to see if we can replace that. And I'm going to play Lancer again. I'm really looking forward to playing Lancer again. 2026 I'll play Lancer. Minions have 2 normal abilities. We have one which is a passive ability. If Fern does every increments of 6 points of damage done to a minion, kills an additional minion. We also have a group attack that we can spend a fear when we spotlight the minion, and then all the minions will do a group attack. 1 dice roll. Is it 1 dice roll per? Let me just double check. All right, no, so they do. So the 2 minions would do 1 attack on Fern. We would do 1 dice roll. If it succeeds, we would do the multi. So basically it's everyone in close range, but that's going to be both of them. They would do 4 points each, basically doing a total of 8 points of damage to Fern, which would knock into the major damage threshold, doing 2 hit points that Fern would then need to try and mitigate one way or another. So we know our enemies. We know the scene is in the roots. We know that that we rolled that it was going to be a social type encounter with a sort of a trader. We have stumbled into this clearing. We will go normal process. I'm just going to have a quick drink, which is the player goes first in Daggerheart, the player goes first in initiative, always. And the only time we can overcome that is by throwing in a fear. Now, we did say that there was an ambush, so we will throw a fear to basically say that Fern does not get the opportunity to go first. We generated fear by the failure, and then we're spending it to make sure we go first. So what we're saying is Fern walks in. We're using the mechanic to mean that the player. So if I was DM, I'm going to do some professional DMing. I might DM Daggerheart because I really enjoy it as a system, and I think it'd be fun to play with a group of people. As the players would come in, they would automatically assume they're playing. I know that they've been ambushed, so I would throw the fear that I generated in their insight roll, and I would say that you are shocked by as you walk through the wall of trees and the moss, and you climb out of where the roots are, and you stumble into this clearing. You are shocked by the noise of combat. Make an insight roll. So let's make Fern make an insight roll, and then we'll instinct roll. Yep, perceiving, sensing. We'll set a target of 10 maybe. So we'll give it a 10, which is detect a looming threat or notice an average person's lies. And this is to notice the trading vehicle that has been stopped is clearly fake, and the people who are seeming to be attacking are thistlefolk, and the people who are defending the trading vehicle were dressed normally, but have now uncovered and shown that they've got weapons. So Ferns, so we've got +2. We've got with fear. We notice it, but we rolled with fear. So we do notice it because we get a 15, we get a 17. So Fern, we would describe, we gain a fear, which is good. We were about to abuse like anyone's business. So Fern would see that there are some thistlefolk bandits that seem to have set up a roadblock. There are some logs that have been put in the road. We can see the bandits are being attacked and are really on the back foot, and being there's a few bodies laying of the thistlefolk. The people who were dressed in normal sort of robes and seem to be quite harmless have thrown their robes to the side because we can see cloth that's been thrown to the side, and some are still wearing them. There's some people in the back of the carts who have come out with bows, and we can see that they seem to be quite heavily armoured, and they're fighting. And as Fern stumbles in, one of the people in robes has, so we've done this to mean, so we threw the one fear away to say that we succeeded. Now we're going to throw another one away, and we will, shall we mark a stress? No, we're going to mark a stress on our leader, who is going to spotlight the other assassins, which are the minions, as the leader's going to shout, "Quick! Attack! We've got a witness! Take the witness out!" And we'll burn that one, which is a fear to mean that all of the minions can attack at once. So the minions will come charging forwards and attempt to attack Fern and Wolf as they're standing there looking a bit shocked on the edge of their clearing. These minions are going to sort of bound forwards. We've got one who is got short cropped red hair. Looks like they were wearing a spotty dress which has been sort of half attempted to be torn aside so as they can access their weapons, with leather armour underneath, and the other one is bounding forwards. So what have they got? They've got throwing daggers, but we're going to say they're going to come into close range. Has got pulling out a dagger whilst has got some sort of maybe a saucepan or something in their hands, and is attempting to track forwards, and they're charging into Fern screaming "Ah!" and they get to attack Fern. Fern has an evasion of 12 beyond melee range. Well, they are moving in beyond melee range, so we're going to let Fern burn a stress to get a plus D4 to give a +2, meaning that Fern has an evasion of 14. They have an attack of -1, which means it gives a 3, which is a failure. So they come charging in. Fern rolls to the side and comes up. We had the master assassin used burn a stress, so their turn was to burn a stress to spotlight others, but that's not the spotlight, so we can then take another one and then say that now we're spotlighting, so we've got 2 other minions that we can spotlight, and both of those can burn a fear to do a multiple attack at once. So the first one is going to burn a fear to attempt to attack, and we're going to hold on to this and try and attack Fern. We have Fern will not burn another stress, but it's another miss because that gives us a 4 was they're both charging in, and the next one is going to attempt to do the same thing. It kills all of our fear, but in theory we could have done a lot of damage to Fern. A 9 minus a 1 is an 8. An 8 does hit minor threshold, so we have got it's got to hit the evasion, so a 8 does not hit Fern's evasion of 12. The damage would have done that. So they all come charging in, coming to attack Fern. Fern rolls to the side. Wolf dives in and grabs one of their arms and tears them to the side. Just narrative cinematic, no actual damage being done. As Fern will then come up, as Fern still hasn't got a secondary weapon. We need to get Fern a secondary weapon. Fern is going to come up, bow out, aim at one of the minions. The minions are up front. We do have the leader over the distance. I think Fern's going to shoot the leader and then if Fern hits, attempt to get Wolf to attack one of the minions and take one of the minions out. So Fern is going to go and try and shoot the leader. We have no hope to spend. We do have hope though. So we have a +3 because it's an agility weapon, the short bow. It's got far range. We will attempt to shoot the leader. It's got a difficulty of 15. We've got +3. We have no other pluses we can throw in. We get, what's that? It's a 9, so we get hope. So we get 1 hope because we've hit with hope. We've got a 14. +3 gives us a 17, which hits the 15, which is a hit. We still have hope, which means we maintained the spotlight on us, so we can get Wolf to do something. We do 2d6 +3 damage because we're at tier 2, which is 6 +3, which is a 9. A 9 does not hit threshold 1, so it only does 1 point of damage. With the arrow hits the master assassin, who sort of ducks to the side, clipping his head on maybe the wheel of the cart, doing 1 point of damage. Fern still has focus. Fern could take another shot at the master assassin, or which might be cool, or Fern could try and trigger Wolf. So Fern is going to make a call on Wolf to attack. Fern has, so this is also, it's a spell roll, which would also be agility. So this is against one of the minions who's got a difficulty of 13. Fern has a +3. He's going to use no hope at this point, which gives us a 10, which means we get another hope. +3 is a 13, which is exactly what we need. So Fern says to Wolf, "Wolf, take out one of those." As Wolf bounds up to the one that Wolf grabbed the arm of, takes that one's arm and tears it to the ground, flipping this assassin into the trees. Means that one of the minions has gone down. We still have focus. What is Fern's? So hold them off, spend 3 hope. When you succeed on an attack with a weapon, to use that same roll against 2 additional adversaries within attack range. If we can get a 3rd hope, that would be pretty cool. We are going to Fern is, we could use let's use one of the Fern's spells to see if we can hold that, which is Vicious Entanglement. Gain a bonus to your evasion equal to half of your agility. I think we've got that. Bonus to your evasion equal to half of your agility. start at 12. Maybe we haven't got that. Maybe I should have added that. Half of your agility. Well, the agility's gone up, so our evasion would have gone to 13, I do believe. So we have got, our agility's gone up because I didn't do that. Vicious Entanglement. Fern is going to turn to the Sablewood, and Fern is going to call upon the Sablewood to hold the Master Assassin down, or the Master Bounty Hunter, and allow Fern to deal with the minion, as that one is held still, which means that we need to, on a success, Roots reach out and grab. Additionally, on the success, we can spend a hope to temporarily restrain another adversary within very close range. That would take that minion out. Was it being very close range? Yeah, okay, we'll say it's in very close range, but first off we need to hit the Master Bounty Hunter. So we get +3 to this. Now we could spend a hope to give ourselves grit your teeth and push through and give ourselves a +2, which we might do actually. I really would like to have spent that. We could spend a hope, make an attack against the target. On a success, deal the attack's normal damage, temporarily make the target your focus. All right, and we're going to spend a second hope to basically focus on the Master. So we get +2, we've got +5 to this, which gives us a 8 +5 gives us a 13, which doesn't hit its difficulty of 15. Could we do anything so that doesn't hit it? I mean, we haven't got any more hope to spend, otherwise I could chuck another +2 in. Sadly, it misses, which means that the focus goes back. So sadly it misses, which means we spend 2 hope for nothing. Spend a hope and make an attack against the target. On a success, deal your attack's normal damage temporarily, make the targets your focus. No, so that failed. We spent 2 hope for nothing. Okay, but we did get a hope. So we get a hope, but we failed the attack, which means the spotlight flips to us. Now we've got the minion, or we have the assassin. Now if the assassin can do an attack, a successful attack, we will generate a fear, which is good. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the assassin is going to bound in fast. It gets a +5 and he's going to attempt to get right up in Fern's face and use the serrated dagger on Fern. The assassin has, so this isn't coming from beyond melee range, this is coming into melee range. So we've got a first is a 13, we have a +5. 5 + 5 gives us a 10, does not hit Fern's evasion. So it runs in, says, "Don't you shoot at me, darling," and then attempts to slice across Fern. Fern will roll, spin to the side, pulling an arrow out because it missed. And so we do not get to keep spotlight, and we have no fear to spend to keep it. Pulling an arrow out, and then we'll bound backwards, which is using Caprine Leap. Kick when you succeed on an attack against a target within melee range. You can mark a stress to kick yourself off them, dealing an extra 2d6 damage and knocking back either yourself or the target to very close range. So Fern will pull an arrow. We'll use that as the d4 damage. He's going to attempt to do an attack, which was probably finesse, against the Master Assassin. You can leap any, or we could just leap. We don't have to do the attack. We could just leap. No, we're going to do the attack. When you succeed on attacking against a target within melee range, so we get a leap. Oh no, sprint, leap, maneuver is agility. We'll call that as +3. So we get 12. So that's 12. That's a 14 +3 gives us a 17. So it hits, but we do get a fear. But it does hit the Master Assassin. We will mark a stress, which means we do a d4 for our underpowered dagger, plus we do 2d6 damage, and we're going to knock the assassin back to very close range. We do 10, we do 13. 13 does hit threshold 2, doing 2 points of damage, knocking the Master Assassin down to 4 hit points. But the Master Assassin does get to come back up to their feet because we rolled a fear. So we got the spotlight on us. We will have the Master Assassin is going to mark a stress. Can mark a stress to cause the other one to go, but there's only one of them, like one minion, so there's no point doing that. And so instead, the Master Assassin is going to scream at Fern and chase in again and attempt to do a hit. Is there anything he can do? Maybe we'll mark a stress and get the minion to attack at the same time. So we're going to mark a stress. The minion is going to come in. We can't spend that fear at the moment because Fern isn't vulnerable. So instead, the minion is going to also attack, which is at a -1, is missing. So the minion misses. Now the Master Assassin gets +5. Oh, 20. There is no crits, is there? But it does hit. So moves in to stab Fern, doing 2d10 +2 damage. Doing 4 + 2 is 5, doing only 1 point of damage. But we are going to mark a armor slot to absorb that one as the blade slides across Fern's stomach, cutting the armor. We can. So did we burn that? No, we could burn that to now have the minion. We'll burn that to keep it with the minion, and now the minion is going to attempt to do a normal attack. No, these minions are rubbish. Which means that we're back to Fern. Where's that d12? So Fern is right up in Fern's face. The leap failed last time, so I think Fern is at this point. We've got one hope. Fern is going to move away. Now, doing the attack, the entanglement is a really good attack. That does, mind you, it's only 1d8 unless we're now doing 2d8. Do we now do 2d8 because we are proficiency 2? Possibly. We will then we're going to bound back. So we're going to use Capricious Leap to just clear the area. And mid-leap, as we move back, we're going to fire down an arrow. If we hit, we're going to shoot twice. We're going to shoot an arrow at the Master Assassin. We've got a +3. We could spend the hope and get a targeted shot. We're going to spend one hope, get a targeted shot, gives us +5. But it does hit. It hits, but we get we get a fear again. But it does hit, doing 2d6 +3 on the Master Assassin. Shame we didn't get 2 shots, as Fern will then land, doing 8 +3 is 11. 11 is only 1 point of damage, so it doesn't hit the second threshold. Putting the Master Assassin down to 3 hit points. Now, will the Master Assassin... No, because he's not an assassin who's trying to sneak away. He's a bounty hunter who wants to capture these people. We now switch back to the bounty hunter. So Fern is away. We'll have one of the minions first. He's going to lob a dagger at Fern. Fern is going to burn another stress. That's all Fern can burn. Fern is on half stress to get +d4 to Fern's evasion, giving Fern a 15 evasion. This dude can never hit Fern. No, he didn't. An 11. Throwing the dagger, missing. We have no... Oh no, we got 1 fear, didn't we? Because the roll of the 12. So it came over because of the fear. We then will burn that fear to let the Master Assassin have an attack. The Master Assassin is also going to chase down Fern, close into where Fern had run away from, attempt to get the serrated dagger out, and he's only on 3 hit points, so he's not that happy a bunny. We'll burn 1 stress to let the minion attack again, which misses. and then the Master Assassin is going to, as the minion is charging into the left-hand side of Fern, pushing through the brush as Fern is trying to duck behind a thin tree and get a shot in on the Master Assassin, as Wolf is howling and snapping at the assassin's feet. The assassin is going to attempt to bound through the trees, clear as much distance as possible, attacking Fern up close. Hitting. Doing, what did I say it was again? 2d10 plus 2. That's a 5 plus 2 is a 7, doing 1 point of damage. Fern is going to absorb that with armor slot again. And then we're back to Fern because we've absorbed everything. Spotlight flips back to Fern. Fern is going to, so this thing is only on 3 points. Fern is going to fire an arrow at the Master Assassin. It's got no benefit, no bonuses. Could try and take out the minion. Taking out the minion, no. If Fern hits the Master Assassin, Fern will call for Wolf to attack the minion. So the Master Assassin, we're only on +3. We've got nothing else to burn into this. Oh, it's a critical hit. Look at that. It's a critical. A 2 and a 2. So we will do the clock after we've done critical. So we get a hope. We hit. We get. So it's the highest possible dice can roll, which would be 12, which is a 15. A 15 plus 2d6 gives us a 21. So a 21 against our 21 is still only threshold 2. A 21 does not beat threshold 3 because that would have taken him out altogether. So the arrow pierces the Master Assassin's chest. The Master Assassin falls back. We still have Spotlight. We're quickly going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the jobs. 1, 2, which is the quarry job. The quarry job has 1 expiry clicked on its box. We are still on us. We've got 1 hope. We still have Spotlight. Critical hit on the Master Assassin, who has 1 hit point left. We still have the minion. We could do Vicious Entanglement, spend our hope, and then we could take them both out, basically. And then we will, because the clock has already ticked, we might close at this end bit, and then we will resolve the end of the battle. We could say, we might do a bit of a luck roll, and then see if there's still other people to fight, which we'll do next session. Otherwise, we'll talk to the Thistle folk, and then we can find out, and we will resolve job 3, which is the bounty hunters. So we've got Spotlight. We're going to use Vicious Entanglement on the, it's a bit cheaty, but if we do Vicious Entanglement on the minion, and then we spend our hope, we can then temporarily restrain the, does that do the damage as well? I guess so. Temporarily restraining the target, which temporarily restrain the Master Assassin. So we could kill the minion and temporarily restrain the Master Assassin. So we're going to attempt to do Vicious Entanglement on the minion, which means we need to hit a 13. We have a 9 and a 1, plus a 3 is a 13. We get our hope. So we hit the minion, which the vines grab hold of the minion. The minion screams in pain as the vines and the thorns bite in and then draw the minion into the ground, absorbing its nutrients to help the Sablewood grow. Minion is down. We spend a hope to target the Master Assassin, who is then restrained. We still have focus. The Master Assassin is restrained. We will call that they are vulnerable. I cannot remember what vulnerable gives us. Vulnerable means they have advantage, which means that Fern will get a plus d6 to attack them. So the Master Assassin is bound by the vines. We have advantage. We will then, Fern will draw an arrow and attempt to shoot the Master Assassin, which means, so we do have a hope left. We might keep that hope. we've got +3, plus a d6 because we've got advantage because he is restrained. We need to hit 15s. We have, well, we do get a fear. We've got an 8 plus a, so we've got a 12, we've got a 17 plus a 3, which is a 20. So it's a hit. We're doing 2d6. Well, it goes out. There's no way he can't go down because he's only got 1 hit point left. So we won't even bother rolling. So the arrow, as the Master Assassin is trying to tear these vines off, tear the thorns off and screeching, the arrow looks up as an arrow comes arcing through the air, piercing through the eye of the, it's a little bit extreme for Daggerheart, isn't it? Coming out the back of his head, he collapses to the ground and the vines then pull the body down. We would then have, so we've got 1 fear left. We would then have Fern will turn. Now what we want to do is we want to ask the Oracle, are there any still standing? So we have, where's our Oracle? Here we have our yes, no Oracle. So we'll go a D20 and a D6. It's a 50-50. Where's the D20 gone? Here. And a D6 is a 50-50. Are there any other bounty hunters standing? 50-50. 10 or higher is a yes. Yes. Okay. And a 4 is no complication. So we will come into next session. We will have another battle with the rest of the bounty hunters. And if we defeat these ones, so we're rolling from one combat to another, Fern gets no rest in between. It'll be exactly as we go. So we will do, so what will we have? It will be 8, which is 6 BP. So we've got 6 BP. Don't use brooders, halls, leaders or solos. Use 6 BP. So we'll have 6 BP. So we could have just loads of minions, or we'll decide that before. So we have a 6 BP battle against the remaining bounty hunters as we fight off the defending the Thistlefolk, and then we'll resolve what happens at the end of that. And maybe the Thistlefolk can help us with the, I'll write that down, maybe the Thistlefolk will help with the social and the mage if we can succeed, if we win. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much for being a subscriber. If you are not a subscriber, do consider subscribing. It very much helps. Not only does subscribing help, hitting the thumb as a like really helps, and putting in any comments really helps as well. Thank you so much to the members of the Adventurers Guild. The Adventurers Guild support the production of these videos by joining the YouTube membership. There should be a join button that you can see. The joining the membership gives 2 tiers. There is a super fan thank you, which is a support tier where you give your thanks. There is the Audible podcast that goes out every Sunday that you have access to. There are the members posts that you have access to, and then there is the early doors tier. The early doors tier, you get early access to all the videos about 2 weeks early. There is also a whole load of members only videos that you can get access to. And there is when they finally release Blade Runner, I will be having a members only competition to win a code for a digital version of Blade Runner by Free League Publishing, because I've been waiting for them to release the Replicant Rebellion pack officially to do that. I've been holding that key since their last PR manager existed. And that's about it really. Thank you so much for your support. You can also buy all of the books that we're using to run this on Drive Thru RPG, which is an awesome way of supporting, and I will leave it at that and see you next week. Bye.